Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. I introduce you my fabulous musical guest, Mr. Jonny Disco, the impeccable
What up?
bass playing. We are going to enter into the first part of the program tonight, which is a little bit of beverages and Battleship. To explain a little bit about the game, we're playing classic mode in Battleship, and we each have 5 ships. Now, the 5 ships are going to represent a lot of things metaphorically, but when it comes down to the literal basis of the game, every hit, you take a drink, and if I take out your battleship completely, you have to finish your drink, okay? That's if I take it out completely and consecutively.
Gotcha.
So, that's my first shot. That's your first drink. Very well played, very well coincided. Next shot, swing and a miss.
Wait, you get to shoot if you get to go again if you get a hit?
Make it, take it. Street ball.
I didn't know. I don't remember this from playing Battleship as a kid, but you're probably too young to remember this, but when I grew up playing Battleship, you had these little plastic pegs that you stuck in this. You had this board that like went up
and then folds down into.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures, but I've never actually seen one in person.
Yeah, I had that. I remember playing it as a kid.
Well, it seems like you're an OG. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Let's see how you play.
Well, now that I actually get to guess,
let's see what you got.
Nope.
All right. Bada bing, bada boom. Take a drink, brother. This is how we do it. Now, even if I sink your ship here, you do not have to finish it. But I am going to sink your ship. No! All right. That's what we get. That's what we get for running the mouth. Okay.
Man.
Now, I'm going to ask you our first question, John. What's your beverage for the night? While you sip the next one. Oh, it's the 5 ship. 2 drinks.
That's the aircraft carrier, bro. No, seriously, the big one's the aircraft carrier.
I didn't know this. I didn't know. I thought they were just squares on the board.
Yeah, the 5. So the 5 is the aircraft carrier.
Okay.
The 4 is the battleship. The 2 is the what's it called? The skimmer or the dinghy.
The dinghy.
And then there's 2 3-point ships, and I can't remember what they're called. But yeah,
the only thing I think of with the dinghy is Chris Farley. Quit playing with your dinghy, Tommy boy.
I mean, yeah, there's that. We have to tell that to our son sometimes.
Well, tell us about your beverage, John.
All right, so I just went to the party source today, actually, to freshen up because I was running low on liquor. And I don't like, in these times, I'm not trying to go out in public too much, but also I got no money coming in, and I'm not made of money. So I went with, oh, you can't read that. I went with
Very Old Barton.
Very Old Barton. If you're not familiar with Very Old Barton, first of all, this is the distillery that had their warehouse collapsed and they lost like thousands of barrels of whiskey that was aging. Yeah, it happened like a year ago.
That's so sad.
It was very sad, and it was very old because it was Barton. But this stuff is like $20 for a handle.
Nice.
And it's not the most disgusting whiskey I've ever had. But it's good to bring to your friend's party if you're not trying to spend a lot of money. So.
Well, unfortunately with that miss, you won't be taking another sip. But let's see what you have, game playing brother.
Nothing.
Nothing. A little back and forth never hurt nobody. Now, as we continue to play, let me ask you this second question.
All right.
When did you first start to play bass? Okay, there we go, John. Bombs up, my friend.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I got your... Oh.
You didn't get my carrier. I wasn't worried about that. They can see that on my screen.
Did I get your battleship?
No, you did not. You'll see. It'll all go red. You'll be able to see like the corners become defined around, not the corners, but the outline.
I didn't get it. Okay, but I almost got it.
Indeed.
I know where the last thing is now.
You do now. It's a good thing I'm thirsty.
As soon as you miss.
Yeah, I already missed, actually.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, no, that's not what I meant to play.
So, John, amidst that epic failure, why don't you tell us when the first time you played bass was, and what was the first group you played with?
So, fun fact about my bass playing career, I actually started. I actually started in high school as a guitar player, and I played guitar in my high school jazz band. And I tried to get some bands together in high school, but I went to high school with. Well, there were some very talented musicians at my high school, but I didn't play music with any of them. I tried to play music with my friends, and my high school friends, they weren't as serious about music as I was.
Okay.
I mean, I had some, but like I have a friend, Colin, who's an incredible cello player, but like it's hard to start a rock band with a cello player. It's been done and it's badass, but
Especially the rock you're listening to at the time. I believe you were a shredder in high school. Is that correct?
no, I was not. I was a jam band kid. I like jazz
Oh,
jam bands. Yeah, yeah. Soul Live was
okay.
my number one band in high school.
Gotcha. So
Yeah,
when did you
Soul Live.
transition to bass?
When I was 19.
Okay.
So when I was my senior year in high school, I auditioned at CCM on guitar, and I got rejected. And then I spent my first year in college as a psychology major. And then I took a class at CCM, and I learned that the jazz department was starved for bass players at the time. And I said, well, hey, I already know where all the notes are on a bass. I just need to learn how to handle that giant mule of an instrument.
Yeah.
So I borrowed my friend's upright and taught myself how to play with terrible technique, auditioned, and they let me in.
That's amazing.
And so, yeah, I started playing bass at age 19.
I didn't realize you started as a psych major. By the way, beautiful chimes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, this is our porch. It's the best room in the house.
And what was the first band you played bass in?
The first band I played bass in was, let's see, the first so the first band I played bass in was a group in college. We called ourselves the Gaslight Five.
Okay, I dig it.
UC was in Clifton, and part of Clifton was Gaslight Clifton. And there were 5 of us in the band initially. Eventually, that became 6. But I wrote a good portion of the music. We had, let's see, some good friends of mine actually still play in town. Tom Buckley was our drummer.
No way.
Yeah, Tom Buckley played drums.
So were you and Tom at CCM at the same time?
Yeah. Tom
Okay.
was like a year or 2 ahead of me at CCM. Same with Phil Hilger.
So
Hilger
was Josh a year below you? Josh Chesson a year below you?
Josh is 2 years below me, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I was there at the same time as Josh, too. So, yeah, it was Tom Buckley and Phil Hilger playing saxophone, mostly alto at the time. My good friend Mac Clenny was playing trumpet. Mac and I have known each other for a long time. He was the best man at my wedding. He is not playing music a whole lot anymore. He's playing music at home, but he's a good dude.
Yeah.
And then my friend Noah Pulver is playing guitar, and actually I miss that guy. He lives in Crestone, Colorado now. He works for a company that makes tone drums.
That's sweet. So, first band was the Gaslight Five.
Yes, first band I played bass in was
Dig
the
it.
Gaslight Five. Yeah.
I want to add one other stipulation to our game of Battleship and beverages here. If you sink the dinghy, that's when you do your shot. Okay.
Okay.
The dinghy is the only stipulation. I've got myself some very nice 100% agave tequila here, waiting for that moment if you get my dinghy. That was not supposed to sound inappropriate, but it did. Moving on to the next question. What has fatherhood provided for your bass tone in terms of thump?
What?
Drink. It's a question, John. You got to answer it. And I might sink everything you have right now. Damn it. All right, never mind. I shouldn't have run my mouth.
Yeah, you thought.
I thought. I had hope. I had real hope.
Yeah, you run your mouth like a fool over there. Yeah.
I'm trying to get heated, but you don't know what the baby did for the thump. Tell me about Miles. Tell me about Miles in relation to your bass tone.
Well, he helped me. When Miles showed up, he helped me formulate the Proteon 802 BP bass thumper, and that really improved. It gets like it's a combination of compressor with an envelope filter, and it's got a built-in gate too. So if you want like a little bit of that kind of bootsy-ish sound, it's definitely it's. So he really, and it was, he kind of spearheaded the idea, and I tweaked his concepts, and that really made the thing shine. And so it's in pre-production right now, but check it out. The Proteon PB802 bass thumper is it'll be in markets coming here soon.
Well, as we continue to keep this game up, John, why don't we move on to the next question, which is, what is Proteon?
Proteon. Well,
He has struck a ship, and I am nervous.
Oh.
Okay. I'll take my one drink, but ladies and gentlemen, on my end of the block, you know what's coming. So, John, what is Proteon?
So Proteon is my business. We specialize in high-end musical equipment. We got the Proteon XT720. That's a vocal processor. We got the Proteon. We got the Proteon Shimmer Crash series of cymbals.
Do any of these products actually exist, John?
Well, they're all in market research right now. They haven't. You're not gonna find them at Guitar Center yet. We're still working on it. It's still in development. So.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Proteon is about to be on the market. It's currently in a research part of the program, but it will be out there soon. Now, my next question for you: what's your best experience and your worst experience on a gig?
Ooh. Oh man. I want to say my best experience. Hey, got your dinghy.
Ladies and gentlemen, 100% agave. Oh, all smiles on my end. Tell us what you think, John.
Dude, if you're drinking pure agave tequila, it shouldn't hit you that hard. It sounds like you're drinking Cuervo over there.
I'll tell you when I'm drinking Cuervo. Don't you doubt me like that. It's nice tequila. I just haven't had it since a very unfortunate night with tequila. But keep the game up, too. Let's see what's going on, because I got to make some revenge out of that.
Hey, yo.
Come on, man.
Oh.
I was really worried I was going to end up being the one that got drunk on this, but hopefully I start coming for you.
We'll see.
All right, so your best and worst gig experiences. There we go.
Man.
There we go. 2 sips, bottoms up, brother. Very nice double take. Okay. Woo.
Boom. Let's see. Man, that's hard to think of right off the top of everything. I want to say probably one of my best. Well, I got several best experiences. We'll go with let's go with, here's a good one. I don't know if this is the absolute best, but this one sticks out in my mind. So I was in a band years ago called Sassafras. I was a founding member, me and Jeff Malott, as well as it was Eric Turner, Jack Gould, Emerson Bartlett, and Zach Ponser. Zach Ponser plays in the band Zoo Trippin' now.
Okay.
He's a great dude. So if any of your fans in Columbus, check out Zoo Trippin', Zach Ponser, lead guitar player.
I believe they were just on tour with our boys from Rockstead as well. Is that correct?
Probably, yeah.
Cool.
They've been hustling. I mean, their frontman Tony, he hustles hard. So
shout out Zoo Trippin' for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so before that all went down, let's see. We our sax player Jack was kind of our manager. He had the hookup.
Sip.
He knew a lot. Did you get? Oh, you did. Oh, wait, that's my Battleship.
That's my battleship. Hits it. Attaboy.
Um, but let's see, what is it? So what's the difference in the dots? Like some of these dots are like grayed out, some of them are black.
So the dots that are gray have appeared because you hit the battleship that was there. So once you hit a battleship, the entire outline is going to be covered in those gray dots, versus the dark ones are your actual shots you've taken.
Okay. Can you not have another boat in the gray dottle area?
No, you can't have two ships touching at any point.
Ah, that's helpful.
It is helpful.
Anyway, sorry.
You're fine.
But we were, so we were kind of in this like jam band scene.
Yes.
And oh no. And
Where's your dinghy?
I have a feeling I am not going to win this game.
I'm trying my best not to let you.
Anyway, what was it?
Sassafras.
We're in Sassafras, and so our sax player, he had to hook up with a lot of the jam band kids. He just like they were in that scene super hard, and he got friendly with some of the dudes from the Works, who I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Works.
Yeah. Dying to play the workout. Dying for the recipe to play the workout.
Well, that would be cool. My experience with the Works is you got to know somebody before they'll actually, let you play one of their events. So
I can understand that.
It's, and I think it's just because they've been around. I mean, that band has been around for, I want to say, close to 20 years at this point. Maybe not 20, but like over 10.
Did you mix the show I saw them play at Fountain Square?
No, that was probably He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Bingo. Okay.
Actually, they probably the Works probably brought their own engineer, and
Gotcha.
I'm sure he was not happy with that sound system there. But
well, let's swing back to Sassafras. Tell me about Sassafras's best gig.
We were playing some event that the Works were supposed to headline, and because of contracts, they couldn't actually play as the Works. They were going to be the Ohio All-Stars featuring members of the Works. Well, something happened and they couldn't make it, so we had to switch sets with them. And their set was a headlining set at 11 p.m. on Saturday night.
Nice.
And so we played on the main stage at 11 p.m. This not unknown, but like this band that didn't have a huge fan base yet. We played the main stage to this huge romping crowd, and it was just like a massive show.
That's killing.
And the best part was like people had such a good time, and we, and then I walked off stage, and one of the bandmates said, "Here's your pay for the night," and he hands me $200, and I'm like, "We're playing a set of original music, making $200 on a show, like
for a huge crowd."
I mean, I've made more money than that playing covers and stuff, or playing, but like that, yeah, for original music for a big show that was actually fun, like it had all the things. So that was right there. That was one of probably one of the better.
I am on the search for your dinghy now.
That's right. That's all you need.
So let's transition to what's your worst band experience, worst gig experience?
Worst band experience. Well, okay, so
you don't have to name names.
My worst band experience was dealing with the front man of the Almighty Get Down, but there wasn't any one particular gig that he made miserable. That was kind of a slow burn of misery. But I'll say one of the worst single night experiences I had was, this is how long ago it was. I was in college. I had, on a whim, responded to a Craigslist ad for a band. Looking for a bass player, and yeah, right. And I went through all, like, I would look through Craigslist for like 4 pages, and this is back in 2009 or something. You probably weren't even born yet. And I'm looking through, and it's like, it's all these metal bands. And I'm like, yeah, metal's cool, but I don't really want to be in a metal band right now because I'm sure Cincinnati doesn't have like prog metal like I'm into anyway. And then I found this one band, and he named a bunch of names, and he was like, it was a little bit of funk, a little bit of reggae, a little bit of classic rock. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Let's check these guys out. And it was a huge description in the ad for Craigslist, right? And so I said, hey, I've got some jazz training, blah blah blah. And dude just responds in an email, just says, call me, and it had his phone number. Okay. So I called this dude, met up with them, and they were all, a little bit older than me, and none of them were as serious about music as me. They're all good dudes. I'm still friends with them. But we played together for about a year or so, and there was this one gig with these dudes. It was at East End Cafe, which East End Cafe caught on fire about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And it doesn't exist anymore. So this is how long ago this was. This was before that place burned down. And we were playing there, and there was like some problem with the electrical, and I think everybody in the band was like having an off night. And so like people were kind of already in bad moods when we got there. There wasn't much of a crowd. And I just remember there was this, one of the guitars players had a flanger or a phaser or something. And there was this massively loud 60 cycle hum coming through the monitors. And then whenever the phaser was on, this 60 cycle hum was just getting flanged. So it's like every time we stopped the song, all you could hear was this and it was like the whole night, and it wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
And it was just, I remember at that point, I officially quit the band at that point. The band kind of stopped playing at that point, really.
Okay. But it wasn't because of the 60 cycle hum. That's not what killed the band. It was the vibe.
That was part of it. It was just that whole night.
Gotcha.
That thing didn't help. And I think at one point our guitar player just walked off stage. It was bad. And so I had been leaving my bass speaker cabinet, as we call in the industry. I've been leaving that at the rehearsal space. Well, at the end of that night, who was the drummer's house? At the end of that night, I told the drummers, hey, just so you know, I'm taking my cab home with me. He called me 2 hours later. He was like, John, did you leave? Yeah, I left a long time ago. He was like, I thought you told me you were taking a cab home. I was just making sure you were okay. Half of the band was so drunk, they thought I was taking a taxi home.
With your gear.
Yeah, and I'm like,
with the bass cab that they thought was the cab.
Bass cab, not a taxi, but
Well, John,
so that was just not a great night.
Understandably so. Now, you are up in Battleship, but I do have some other questions. So why don't you take another shot into the Dismo while I keep looking for your dinghy, and I'll follow up with what I think is probably the most important question of the evening, which is, who named you Jonny Disco?
Oh. So the name Jonny Disco actually comes from, I was trying to write a fun dance song that could, I don't know, that would just be commercially accessible.
Okay.
Where the hell is your boat? Oh.
Oh, the Fury. Did you?
Not quite.
Okay, cool.
But
Two drinks. I thought you ended me.
No, not quite. But I know where the last one is.
Well, John,
no!
I just found you digging. So
take
a quick drink. You might have to finish your beverage if I take this next shot and hit it. Woo!
Yep.
Finish that thing, brother. And I want to hear about where Jonny Disco comes from. That's a hefty glass.
Yeah, I'm not finishing that in one sip. So this was a band I tried to put together after Sassafras broke up. Actually, I didn't break up. They kicked me out. They eventually fizzled out. They didn't even break up. Sassafras was on a big trajectory. And if you follow their trajectory, the moment that they kicked me and the original drummer out, was a very slow down, you know, like we had built up some momentum to be commercially accessible.
Mm.
And then they just, combination of personality flaws and a little bit of bad luck and some questionable management decisions, you know, didn't really work out.
Yeah.
So I was in this band. I tried to start another band with some other friends of mine. You know, didn't really. Actually, Jessen was one of the people I tried to recruit, but he actually turned that down relatively quickly because it wasn't something like he was looking to get into something that was already moving, and this was trying to like start from the ground up by writing and everything, and so
Totally.
he didn't have the time for it, and most of the other guys didn't either, which, you know, I understand because like I'm a collaborative writer. I write my best when I have a partner to write with. I need a Daryl Hall for my John Oates. That's how I write music the best. And so I wrote this song, and it's pretty catchy. And actually, I still got, you know, I could still present it somewhere. But it's got kind of a dance beat to it, and we didn't have a name for it. And so the guy I had recruited, his name was Danny Watson. He was a rapper and a singer and a beatboxer.
Dig it.
And so I presented it to him, and I was like, "Hey, I don't have a name for this yet. Can you put some words to this?" He's like, "Yeah, this would be cool. This Jonny Disco that you wrote here. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it the Jonny Disco." And then
Dig
he's like, "That's what I'm gonna call you." He said that, and I was like, "I actually kind of like that name. I mean, I don't really play disco music actually, but I kind of like the name because just before that point, I've never gone by the name Johnny. It just wasn't a name that I went by."
Yeah. Well, it served you well, and it's allowed you to continue to be the character and the superstar that you deserve to be, my brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, next you're going to be hearing a collab jam of myself and my brother Jonny Disco. Thanks for watching. See you in a minute.